Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. So let's start. After he was done with the jades, Wang Lin's divine sense spread out and covered the entire valley. Every villager inside the valley was unknowingly being observed by him. He found that almost all of them had really good talent, much stronger than his body when he started cultivating. While feeling regretful, Wang Lin was also happy. Although there wasn't any spiritual energy here, there was demonic spiritual energy. Maybe by using demonic spiritual energy to cultivate the soul flag, they might gain some benefits. With this idea in mind, Wang Lin's divine sense found Ouyang Hua, who was planning attacks on other villages and looking for potential places to live. After sending a message into Ouyang Hua's ear, Wang Lin withdrew his divine sense. Not long after, Ouyang Hua quickly ran to Wang Lin with a respectful expression. When he was pondering earlier, he suddenly heard Wang Lin's voice. He was startled for a moment and then quickly rushed over. Wang Lin threw the 2 pieces of jade at Ouyang Hua. Ouyang Hua was startled. He carefully looked at the jades and then became very excited as he asked, "Supreme Celestial, could these be demon jades?" Demon jade, pretty much. Wang Lin searched through Lu Yun's memories and found that Lu Yun's ancestor had a record the word demon jade. Ouyang Hua held the jade and took a deep breath. After looking at it for a long time, his old face turned red. A little embarrassed, he whispered, "Supreme Celestial, I only know that these things record things. I don't know how to read them." Press 1 against your forehead and imagine yourself viewing inside it. If your mind is firm, you will be able to see. If not, try it a few more times. With that, Wang Lin closed his eyes. Ouyang Hua took a deep breath as he sat down in the lotus position with the jade pressed against his forehead and tried to imagine viewing the jade. After a while, he revealed a bitter smile. No matter how hard he imagined, he wasn't able to see inside it. Although Wang Lin had his eyes closed, he was still observing Ouyang Hua. This person was the elder of this valley, because when he went to ancient demon city to study, it was found that he had 1 rank of demonic spiritual energy. Although it was not enough to live inside the city, his status in the village increased greatly. Wang Lin could clearly see a thin, silk-like aura slowly moving in Ouyang Hua's dantian. However, this person's meridians were all blocked. Not only was the cycle of that sliver of aura slow, its range of movement was limited. Even so, this aura was able to act as the catalyst for the formation around the valley. With it, he could control the formation and even create a fake body. 1 hour later, Ouyang Hua couldn't help but give up. His face was filled with bitterness as he silently shook his head. Wang Lin opened his eyes and they lit up, then he waved his hand. Ouyang Hua exclaimed as he flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin held 2 fingers up from his left hand and suddenly pointed at Ouyang Hua's dantian. With 1 point, Ouyang Hua immediately let out a groan. There was a sharp pain coming from his dantian, and large beads of sweat fell on the ground from his forehead. Although it was painful, he clenched his teeth. He knew that if Wang Lin wanted to kill him, there was no need to do all of this. If Wang Lin was doing this, it was most likely to help him. Someone of his age would normally be stuck at rank 1 forever, and it would be impossible for him to gain any more ranks of demonic spiritual energy. However, he had a feeling that if he grabbed hold of this chance, breaking through would no longer be just a dream. Wang Lin's finger that was pointed at Ouyang Hua's dantian slowly moved up. Every time he moved up half an inch, the pain Ouyang Hua felt would increase 1-fold. The sweat from his forehead fell like rain, his entire body trembled violently, and his face was completely pale. Wang Lin's expression was still normal. After raising his finger 3 inches, he calmly looked at Ouyang Hua and said, "Endure it." With that, his left hand suddenly rose from 3 inches all the way to Ouyang Hua's forehead. A miserable groan came out from Ouyang Hua's mouth and echoed across the entire valley. Ouyang Hua's eyes rolled back as he fell to the ground and became motionless. Wang Lin didn't look at him but continued to sit there. All of the villagers heard Ouyang Hua's miserable groan, but no one dared to go check. The tribal law was like a sword above their heads, so no one dared to break it. Several hours later, Ouyang Huan slowly opened his eyes. At the moment he opened them, he was completely stunned. The entire world suddenly seemed different to him. The flowers were still flowers, the grass was still grass, and the wall was still as sturdy as always, but in his eyes, everything was different. A feeling of being reborn echoed in Ouyang Hua's heart. He couldn't help but let out 2 streams of tears. He didn't need to check if he had reached 2 stars, where he can see tiny things. He respectfully knelt down before Wang Lin and kowtowed 3 times. "Thank you, Supreme Celestial." Although he didn't say much, the excitement and shock inside those words couldn't even be expressed in 10,000 words. Wang Lin nodded and said, "Check if you can see what is inside the demon jade." Ouyang Hua quickly picked up the jade, placed it on his forehead, and began to imagine. The chant inside the jade quickly imprinted into his memory. Ouyang Hua's body trembled as he took a deep breath to contain the excitement in his heart and said, "Junior has seen it." He unconsciously changed how he addressed himself. Wang Lin nodded. Earlier, he used his finger to open a meridian for Ouyang Hua by force. This method was simply too tyrannical, and would have a lot of consequence in the future, but it was the quickest way to increase his cultivation. Wang Lin looked at Ouyang Hua and slowly said, "This chant is called soul refining. Listen carefully, because I will only explain it to you once. Once you learn it, you will teach it to the villagers here." Ouyang Hua's excitement today was like one powerful wave after another. The increase in his cultivation already made him very excited. After seeing the chant inside the jade, his heart couldn't help but beat rapidly. He had a guess in his heart, because he couldn't believe it was true. After all, spells were very rare in the demon spirit land, so there was no way for normal people to obtain them. Ouyang Hua took a deep breath and asked, in disbelief, "Supreme Celestial. Supreme Celestial, do you mean you will teach me this spell?" Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he nodded and said, "Not just you. I'm going to teach it to all the villagers here." Ouyang Hua's body trembled as he respectfully bowed and said, "I, Ouyang Hua, will never forget what Supreme Celestial has done." These words came from his heart and were filled with sincerity. It has to be said that things like spells were controlled by very few people. With Ouyang Hua's ability, he would never have a chance of learning one, not to mention all the villagers. Wang Lin pointed out the key points of cultivating this spell. Ouyang Hua listened like a good student, and his gratitude toward Wang Lin became even stronger. After Wang Lin finished speaking, Ouyang Hua did his ritual to pay his respects as a disciple and left. Seeing Ouyang Hua's actions made Wang Lin feel a bit shocked. However, he had just taught Ouyang Hua cultivation, so Ouyang Hua doing this ritual wasn't wrong. Time slowly passed, and in the blink of an eye, 3 months went by. Ouyang Hua was very diligent. He spent all of his time cultivating and studying the soul refining spell. He even withheld the plans of attacking other villages and focused on studying this spell. His talent was already pretty good, and the soul refining sex techniques were the easy to learn but difficult to master type, so after 3 months, he had made some progress. Not only him, but all of the males in the village had been cultivating under Ouyang Hua's teachings. Each of them had achieved different results. Wang Lin spent all 3 months of time cultivating to study the demon crystals. In 3 months of time, he was able to fuse the 2 crystals into one. This demon crystal contained a powerful amount of demonic spiritual energy, and around it were many tentacle-like things that moved around in a strange way. Rank 3 demon crystal. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he opened his mouth and devoured the crystal. The crystal went into his dantian, then waves of demonic spiritual energy came out from the crystal and spread across his body. After allowing the demonic spiritual energy to cycle through his body for a week, Wang Lin's aura began to change. The current him no longer had the ethereal feeling of a celestial. He was now covered in demonic spiritual energy and looked very strange. Even his face was much more demonic, and his eyes would cause anyone's heart to tremble from just looking at them. This was a pair of extremely demonic eyes. His sharp, oval eyes would cause anyone's heart to tremble. Wang Lin raised his right hand, then he gently closed it and frowned. My body is filled with demonic spiritual energy, but unfortunately, there isn't enough. Even after using it all, I'm only around the foundation establishment stage. With one thought, all of demonic spiritual energy inside his body withdrew into the demon crystal, and not a sliver was released. After the demonic spiritual energy withdrew, celestial spiritual energy quickly moved through Wang Lin's body, giving him an ethereal feeling once more. This demonic spiritual energy is interesting. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. In these 3 months, he walked out of the valley 3 times, and he taught the people cultivating the soul refining spell each of the 3 times. The people of the valley all knew that this spell came from Wang Lin, and that it was Wang Lin who gave them the chance to learn a spell. All of the fear and misunderstandings about Wang Lin completely disappeared, and were replaced by endless respect and gratitude. All 3 times when Wang Lin came out, every villager who saw him dropped whatever they were doing and greeted him. Among the people that were cultivating the soul refining spell, aside from Ouyang Hua, who was advancing quickly, there was another person that caught Wang Lin's attention. This person was the young man who Wang Lin followed to find this valley. This young man was very talented in cultivating the soul refining spell. In just a short 3 months, he had already reached the 3rd stage, which was when one should make their own soul flag. Wang Lin had already taught Ouyang Hua the method of making the soul flag. However, the demon spirit land was lacking in materials, so making soul flags was going to be difficult. When he realized this, Wang Lin found some time to carefully think up a solution to the matter. He managed to use some of the steel trees, beast skins, and some seals to just barely make something that could imitate the effect. This substitute flag could only seal up to 10 souls, meaning the limit was a 10-soul flag. But this object won in terms of quantity, because one could use 10 of these flags at the same time. Although it was not as strong as a 100-soul flag, it still had half the power. Same as the spells, Wang Lin hid a fatal flaw inside this substitute soul flag, and only he knew about this fatal weakness. After all, Wang Lin was the only person on planet Qian Yun that knew the soul refining sect spells. After imprinting the method of creating the new soul flag on a jade, Wang Lin spread out his divine sense, and called over Ouyang Hua, and the young man named 13. 13 was the young man Wang Lin secretly followed to find the valley. This person seemed to have natural affinity for the soul refining sect spells. If Du Tian was still alive, he would definitely be shocked by this. 13 quickly stood before Wang Lin. He only felt respect and amazement toward the Supreme Celestial before him. The more he cultivated the soul refining spell, the more amazement he felt in his heart. In the 3 months that he had been studying the spell, he came to the conclusion that if he could completely master it, its power would be beyond imagination. 10 soul flag, 100 soul flag, 1,000 soul flag, 10,000 soul flag. 13 took a deep breath and revealed a hint of excitement in his eyes. Ouyang Hua was much more experienced than 13, so he silently stood there with a look of respect. In truth, from the moment everyone began learning the soul refining spell, the real authority of controlling the village gradually shifted from Ouyang Hua to Wang Lin. Almost everyone knew that Wang Lin was the real ruler here. Supreme Celestial, all 27 males in the village have begun cultivating the demon spell. Right now, besides 13, most are stuck at the 1st stage, and there are 6 that haven't even managed to get that far. Wang Lin sat there in the lotus position and nodded. Although the soul refining spell was easy to learn, it wasn't for everyone. The fact that a large majority of the 27 people here had already reached the 1st stage would be a shocking news if it happened on Suzaku. After looking at 13, Wang Lin felt very satisfied with how fast this child was cultivating. Noticing Wang Lin's gaze on him, 13's back became straight and the excitement in his eyes became even stronger, and he said, "Supreme Celestial, 13 has already reached the 3rd stage. If I can create the soul flag, I can go out to find soul fragments to seal inside." Wang Lin faintly smiled as his right hand reached out and a jade silently appeared. He threw the jade and smiled. The new method for making soul flags is in here. 13 caught the jade and revealed an extremely joyous expression. He took a deep breath as he pressed the jade against his forehead and began to imagine like Ouyang Hua taught him. Shortly after, his body lightly trembled and his eyes filled with excitement. He looked at Wang Lin and suddenly knelt down to the ground before heavily kowtowing 3 times. Wang Lin closed his eyes and slowly said, "You can leave. Focus all of your effort on creating the soul flag." 13 nodded, then he put down the jade and respectfully left. Ouyang Hua hesitated a bit. He looked at Wang Lin and then looked at the jade on the ground. Without Wang Lin's permission, he wouldn't dare to pick up the jade to check it. Wang Lin slowly said, "Look at it. You have already reached the 3rd stage. If you can successfully make one, your power will increase a lot when you use your demonic spiritual energy to seal a soul fragment." Ouyang Hua quickly picked up the jade and pressed it against his forehead. Shortly after, he took a deep breath and respectfully said, "Junior will go look for the materials to make it." With that, he pondered a bit and then said, "Supreme Celestial, once both me and 13 have successfully made soul flags, I plan on attacking a cave 500 kilometers away. There is another tribe there with a few dozen people." Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he said, "Do as you wish." Ouyang Hua nodded and quickly left. The news of attacking the cave in 1 month quickly spread across the village. For the members of the village, this was a big battle. Although the other side outnumbered them, thanks to the soul refining spell, their chances of winning were high. During this 1 month of time, all of the males were full of energy as they cultivated the soul refining spell. 13 left the village and gathered enough materials to make the soul flag. This child's affinity toward the soul refining spell showed itself once more. After failing 3 times, he made his first soul flag. This first soul flag caused a big commotion inside the valley. Everyone surrounded 13, and the 7-inch flag in his hand became the focus of everyone's gazes. 13 was very excited to have those gazes on him. Ouyang Hua rubbed the beard on his chin and revealed a smile. In truth, he had already made a soul flag a few days before 13, but he didn't reveal it to everyone and allowed 13 to have the chance to shine. Ouyang Hua was like a sly, old fox, so he naturally noticed that 13 seemed to have caught Supreme Celestial Wang Lin's attention. Adding on the facts that he was getting old and that the future didn't belong to him, it seemed like it will belong to 13. Someone from the crowd asked, "Little 13, the soul flag is only useful once you have sealed a soul fragment inside. When will you go capture a soul fragment to seal inside?" The others all agreed. 13 let out a snort and said, "Who said I haven't sealed a soul fragment inside? All of you, look closely." With that, his right hand formed a seal and demonic spiritual energy gathered from all directions to form a green light that flashed at the tip of his finger. He pointed at the soul flag and the flag immediately shook. A ray of black gas suddenly flew out, turning into a wild beast that looked like a lion with wings. Right after the beast appeared, it let out a roar that shocked everyone. Ouyang Hua's eyes narrowed, and he was shocked by it. 13 revealed a proud expression as he pointed at the beast and shouted, "Attack!" The lion-like soul fragment revealed a vicious gaze as he charged out and slammed into the wall. There was a loud bang and cracks appeared on the wall. There was not a bit of damage on the lion soul fragment. Waves of exclamations came from the surrounding people, and their looks of admiration made 13 very proud. He accidentally found this flying lion when he entered the forest this time. The beast had received mortal injuries and had just died. 13 clenched his teeth and risked using the soul refining spell. After many tries, he succeeded in refining the soul and sealing it inside the soul flag. 13 took a deep breath as he waved his hand and shouted, "Return." With that, he waved the soul flag in his hand, but at this moment, the lion soul fragment turned to look at 13 with a vicious gaze. It moved like lightning, but not toward the soul flag, it was charging at 13. The viciousness in its eyes had turned into killing intent. 13's expression changed. He held up the soul flag and shouted, "Return." The lion soul completely ignored the command as it charged over and everyone else scattered. Ouyang Hua clenched his teeth and charged out. Now there was a 3-inch flag in his hand. With one shake, there was a flash of green light and a small, sparrow-like bird flew out and charged toward the lion. As the lion's soul was charging, it suddenly turned around and roared at the small bird. The roar seemed to have a piercing effect, causing the small bird to slow down. Taking this moment, the lion's soul fragment moved like lightning and arrived next to 13. It opened its bloody mouth and tried to devour 13. 13's face was completely pale. He wanted to retreat, but it felt like there was a mysterious force preventing him from moving. He could only watch as the bloody mouth became larger and larger, like it was covering the entire world. Just at this moment, a cold snort came out from the valley like lightning. What followed after the cold snort was a voice that was colder than winter. "Damned beast, you dare." When the voice entered 13's ears, it was as if he was hearing a sound from heaven. He quickly shouted, in a voice filled with panic, "Supreme Celestial, save me." The same voice landed in the lion's ears like raging thunder, causing its body to violently tremble and almost collapse. The reason it didn't collapse was not because it was strong, but because Wang Lin didn't want it to collapse. It completely stopped charging, and without any hesitation, the lion let out a miserable cry before turning around to escape. At this moment, a person walked out from inside the valley. With one step, Wang Lin crossed dozens of feet and appeared in the sky. The lion's soul fragment's body trembled. It could feel that there was a power that it couldn't resist at all coming from the person before it. When facing this person, it wasn't able to resist at all. A feeling of terror slowly entered its heart, until it completely drowned it. The lion's soul fragment let out a pitiful cry. It no longer tried to escape, and lied down in a submissive pose. The fear in its eyes was very strong. This scene completely shocked everyone inside the valley. Even Ouyang Hua was completely dumbfounded, and his deep sense of respect for Wang Lin grew in his heart. This kind of respect would last for hundreds of years. The excitement in 13's eyes deepened. When he looked at Wang Lin, his heart filled with respect. If the two of them were like this, there was no need to talk about the others. In truth, the reason why the lion's soul fragment feared Wang Lin so much was mainly due to the fatal flaw that Wang Lin left on the spell and soul flag. All of the soul fragments sealed by people who learned from Wang Lin's modified spell could be suppressed and controlled by Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he pointed to the air. The lion's figure trembled, then it turned into a strand of black gas, flew into 13's soul flag, and disappeared. This beast is passable as the primary soul for your 10 soul flag. However, remember that there are no tricks with the soul refining spell. You were able to seal it, but it was able to reject you. Let this be a lesson for you. After Wang Lin said those words, he turned around and returned to the depths of the valley. 13's face was full of shame as he looked at the flag in his hand and began to ponder. Time quickly passed, and 1 month of time quickly went by. All of the males in the village left in the middle of the night. Ouyang Hua and 13 were the vanguard as they took everyone directly to the cave. Wang Lin didn't follow and didn't even follow with his divine sense. This was a trial for them, and if they failed, that meant that they weren't qualified and Wang Lin would leave for Ancient Demon City to find other opportunities. 5 days later, while Wang Lin was cultivating inside the depths of the valley, he opened his eyes. Soon, loud noises could be heard from the distance as a long line of people rushed toward the valley along the winding path. This long line was formed by people not from the village, and their faces were filled with fear. There were males and females among them, and they were all in their prime. Their hands were tied together by rope, and there were 7 people per line. Every line was carrying a log which their hands were bound to as they slowly moved forward. Ouyang Hua walked in the front, and was covered in blood marks. Although he looked fatigued, there was excitement on his face. The people of the village moved on the side of this line. If any of the prisoners moved too slowly, the villagers would go up and yell at them. 13 walked at the end of the line. His entire aura was completely different from before. He was no longer as proud and seemed much more calm. There was a determined look on his face now. He walked behind the line with several people around him. However, they all kept their distance and had looks of respect in their eyes. It can be said that 13 was able to show off big time during this battle. With him and Ouyang Hua working together, they were able to bypass the formation and catch the enemy off guard. The enemy's elder was devoured by the lion 13 summoned right at the start. He then used the soul refining spell right there in front of the enemy to refine the enemy elder's soul and seal it inside the soul flag. At the same time, Ouyang Hua wasn't slow either. He quickly refined the souls of the people that died in the battle and sealed them. This scene was a big shock to the enemies. This long line quickly arrived inside the valley. Then all the women immediately took out wooden buckets from their houses like they were very used to this. There was green liquid inside the buckets, and it was still bubbling. It gave off a bad smell. Every outsider's head was pressed into a bucket, and they were forced to drink some of this green liquid. After drinking the liquid, they immediately revealed confused expressions. Then some villagers took them away and whispered something into their ears. When Wang Lin's divine sense saw this, he wasn't surprised at all. He had learned from Lu Yun's memories that Lu Yun's ancestors said that the only way for these small tribes to gain more members was to force their captives to drink a bowl of memory-wiping soup. The effect of this soup was to make the person forget everything, and then someone would whisper the person their new name and current situation of the tribe. When that person awakened, they would be a new member of the tribe. There wasn't anything special about this soup in Wang Lin's eyes. It was far inferior to something like a charm spell. If anyone with cultivation drank this soup, it would basically have no effect. Ouyang Hua quickly rushed toward Wang Lin. When he was still pretty far, he respectfully bowed and said, "Junior Ouyang Hua wishes to greet Supreme Celestial." After receiving Wang Lin's approval, Ouyang Hua quickly entered the depths of the valley. From far away, he saw Wang Lin sitting in the lotus position. He arrived before Wang Lin and took out an item, then he respectfully said, "Supreme Celestial, Junior found the demon crystal from the enemy tribe to give to Supreme Celestial." Wang Lin's eyes lit up, then he waved his hand and the demon crystal flew from Ouyang Hua's hand to his. He carefully looked at this black rock. There was nothing special about this crystal, and it looked rather rough. Wang Lin squeezed his right hand and the black rock immediately shattered, revealing a demon crystal the size of his thumb. Rank 2 Demon Crystal. Wang Lin looked at the crystal for a short moment before devouring it. Ouyang Hua had his head down and remained silent. He had been showing an expression of respect the whole time. After devouring the demon crystal, it quickly fused with the demon crystal inside Wang Lin, and became a rank 5 demon crystal. Wang Lin looked at Ouyang Hua before slapping his bag of holding and taking out a piece of jade. After sweeping it with his divine sense, he threw it at Ouyang Hua and said, "You guys only have the chance for the first 3 stages. Unless one has achievements, they don't get more. You returned with the demon crystal, so I'll give you the 4th stage. Study it well and don't teach it to others, or else I'll definitely take it all back." Ouyang Hua suppressed the excitement in his heart. After accepting the jade, he quickly left. After he left, Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he muttered to himself, "It seems like this was the right step." As the village slowly grows and absorbs the surrounding tribes, the amount of demon crystals I will be able to obtain will increase as well. In addition to this, the more people the tribe has, the more people there will be to cultivate the soul refining spell. That means I'll be able to recover the 1 billion soul flag's full strength sooner. Right now Wang Lin was raising soul fragments. All of the soul fragments being refined by the people cultivating the soul refining spell could become his with just a thought. There will be a day when the time is right for Wang Lin to collect all of the souls, and the 1 billion soul flag will become whole once more. The population of the village suddenly increased a few-fold. The number of males was now over 50. The females were divided among the villagers, and a few of the beautiful women were gifted to Wang Lin by Ouyang Hua, who was greedy for merits. However, he got the cold shoulder this time. Those new tribe members all began to cultivate the soul refining spell. There was now an air of cultivators in the valley. Aside from the people who went out to hunt every day, everyone else was focused on cultivation. There were even some women who started cultivating. At first Ouyang Hua was against this, but after being yelled at by Wang Lin through a message transmission, he quickly changed this attitude and openly supported women cultivating. As a result, everyone in the valley besides the children, no matter whether they were men or women, started to cultivate like crazy. It was easy to start learning the soul refining spell, and adding on the strength of 13 and Ouyang Hua, these two soon became everyone's goal. Time silently went by, and in the blink of an eye, half a year passed. During these 6 months, the people of the village went out a lot. They went out in groups or by themselves, all to either make their own soul flags, or to kill beasts, so that they could refine the souls. Aside from 13, 4 more people reached the 3rd stage in these 6 months, and needed to make their soul flags. Everyone knew Wang Lin's rule by now. If they wanted the chance for stages beyond the 3rd stage, they had to gain merits, and there were only 3 ways to do so. The first was to hand over demon crystals, the second was to find clues of foreigners, and the third was to make at least 10 soul flags, and at least 4 of the flags had to have a primary soul inside. If anyone was able to do any of those 3 things, Wang Lin would award them the 4th stage chant. As for the 5th stage chant, the requirements were even more strict. At this point, only Ouyang Hua had met the conditions of obtaining the 4th stage chant. Even 13 has only refined 7 soul flags. What was the difficult was the primary souls. As of now, he only had 2 primary souls, and the second one was the elder of the enemy village that he refined half a year ago. As a result, the call for attacking another tribe became louder and louder. Only by attacking other tribes could there be demon crystals, primary souls, and large amounts of soul fragments. It has to be said that Ouyang Hua's words came true. Every 5,000 years when the foreigners arrived, they would bring a bloodbath to the demon spirit land. Just because of Wang Lin's arrival, this valley went from a quiet village to one filled with aggression, to invade other tribes in order to gain the higher level chants. As the cry for war became louder and louder, a new crusade finally began. This time it didn't matter if it was man or woman. Aside from a few who were left behind to take care of the children, almost every villager left. They weren't all going to attack one place. They were going to split into 3 groups to attack 3 different tribes. This was the only way to satisfy their needs, because if they all attacked the same tribe, there would be no way to split the demon crystals and primary souls. No one in the demon spirit land noticed that there was a force growing in power, because no one would bother to check these tribes in the wasteland. Not even any of the foreigners would decide to stay with the tribes like Wang Lin did. They had all gone to different countries and obtained different positions. In order to get military exploits and an ancient demon, they began a bloodshed that would last for 500 years. The people of the village were extremely well prepared for this attack. Ouyang Hua led one group, 13 led the second, and the other villagers, who were also at the 3rd stage, led the last group. After half a month, only 13's group didn't return. Although there were some casualties, their rewards were very good. However, because 13's group didn't return, there was a dark cloud over everyone's hearts. Only Wang Lin's expression remained normal without any change. 3 days later, a black cloud appeared outside the valley. If one looked closely, they would see that it was a lion with wings. Although there were no injuries on its body, it was very weak. Every now and then it would turn into a black cloud and then form back together. It was on the verge of collapsing. There was a person lying motionlessly on its back, and he was covered in wounds. There was also a very strange-looking, red lion moving around inside the person like a parasite. The lion primary soul quickly charged toward the valley. As it got closer, several people quickly appeared, took out their soul flags, and fed soul fragments to the lion. This caused the lion's energy to immediately increase. After seeing the lion, almost everyone immediately recognized that this was 13's lion, and that the person on its back, which was clearly 13. After the lion primary soul entered the valley, it let out a cry, then it shattered into specks of black light, and was about to completely collapse. Just at this moment, a calm voice echoed in the valley. Soul condense. With that, the specks of black light shined brightly and quickly condensed back together. In the blink of an eye, it returned back to normal. All of the villagers revealed respectful expressions and opened a path. Wang Lin walked through with his hands behind his back. After the lion primary soul saw Wang Lin, it began to cry as if it had been extremely wronged. Wang Lin's finger reached out, causing the lion to let out a cry of joy and rushed toward Wang Lin's finger. Finally, it disappeared on his finger and a lion-shaped mark appeared on his fingertip. The surrounding people were all used to Wang Lin's control over soul fragments, so none of them were shocked at all, and they had their heads down respectfully. Wang Lin walked step by step and arrived next to 13. After he lowered his head to take a look, his expression darkened. He saw a red line moving like a dragon through his body. 13's face was pale and had no breath at all. Wang Lin knelt down and gently pressed his right finger on 13's chest. A sharp cry suddenly came out from the body, and at the same time, a red line charged out from where Wang Lin pressed and shot directly at him. Wang Lin's eyes became cold, and an invisible force appeared around his body. There was a loud bang as if the red line had hit a steel plate, and it was forcefully knocked back. At this moment, Wang Lin moved his hand and caught the red line. With one pull, there was a loud cry, and the red line was pulled out of 13's body. This red line was longer than 10 feet, and it moved around like a snake. The other end moved toward Wang Lin, but was once more stopped. The coldness in Wang Lin's eyes increased, and the celestial spiritual energy inside his body surged like crazy. He squeezed hard, and after a series of popping sounds, the red line shattered to dust in 3 breaths of time. After the red line disappeared, 13's face slowly became red. Although 13 was still extremely weak, his condition was no longer life-threatening. However, Wang Lin's expression became even darker. He was able immediately see that 13 had been wasted. The 3 stars of demonic spiritual energy 13 had gathered from cultivating the soul-refining spell were all gone. If that was only the case, it would be fine, but all of the meridians in his body were shattered and all his soul flags were stolen. The enemy acted so viciously, but didn't kill 13. Instead, he let the lion bring 13 back, meaning that that person clearly had other objectives. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and he pointed his finger toward 13's forehead. The demon crystal inside his body activated, and a strand of demonic spiritual energy entered 13's forehead. 13's body trembled, then he suddenly opened his eyes and saw Wang Lin. He wanted to get up to pay his respects, but he found that he couldn't move, and pain washed over his body like ocean waves. 13 struggled to open his mouth. In his current state, he accidentally called out what he always considered Wang Lin in his heart. "Master." Wang Lin's eyes lit up, but he didn't speak. On the way back, we met a large tribe. We tried to go around them, but they still attacked us. There was a white-robed man, who took my soul flag and planted that demon inside me. He left me a message saying that if you want the soul flags back, then all you have to do is find him. Wang Lin nodded, then he raised his finger, and at that moment, 13's body trembled before he passed out again. "Take him to rest." After Wang Lin left those words, he took one step and disappeared. The surrounding tribe members quickly moved 13 away, and there was someone else there to take care of him. After Wang Lin left the valley, he moved like lightning toward the distance. His expression was gloomy and his eyes were cold. 13 originally went out to attack another tribe. If he had failed and died, Wang Lin wouldn't have cared at all. Life and death were all part of life, and as someone who cultivated the life and death domain, Wang Lin was very clear on this. However, this was not the case here. 13 was on his way back when he passed by another tribe and was attacked. The enemy also didn't kill 13, but planted a demon inside his body. If that was it, that would have been fine as lesson, but they also shattered his meridians and even said that if he wanted the soul flags back, he had to go find them. As a result, the meaning had changed. This was taunting, or it could be said to be a challenge letter. 13 became someone's living challenge letter. Since this person sent the challenger letter, Wang Lin wanted to see what kind of person was living in that tribe that dared to challenge him. Wang Lin was very intelligent. If this person's cultivation level was much higher than his, he would just head back to the village, find a way to heal 13, and then just avoid this tribe. Although there was a chance of this, it was very low. From what Wang Lin saw from the spell used on 13, the person was only around the soul formation stage. Thinking about this, he let out a cold snort and moved even faster like a meteor across the sky. The Heavenly Water tribe lives in a large plain in the northwest side of the Demon Spirit Land. There is flat land surrounding the area, and originally it was not a great place to live, but an ancient formation exists here. This formation is very powerful. When it is activated, everything within 5 kilometers is safe. Even during the night of demonic spirits, it is completely safe inside. The key to survival for a tribe in the Demon Spirit Land is whether or not they can find a formation to protect themselves with. There are many of these formations in the Demon Spirit Land, but there aren't many that can cover 5 kilometers. The larger the area the formation can cover, the stronger the formation. It also means that the tribe that lives here has more room for growth. For example, the valley is only so large, so once the population reaches a certain size, they won't be able to get new people. This formation on the plain is 5 kilometers wide, so more people can live inside. 2 old men were sitting inside a very simple house in the Heavenly Water tribe. One of them was wearing grey, and the other was wearing white. Between them was a purple tea set. The white-robed old man picked up a cup and took a drink. Of all the things the foreigners brought, only this tea suits my tastes. The grey-robed elder picked up a cup and also took a drink. When are you going back? The white-robed old man pondered a bit and said, tomorrow. I can't leave the ancient demon city for too long. I already stayed for a month for a visit home. If I stay any longer, it will be difficult to explain to the general of the left wing. The grey-robed elder nodded and said, you injured someone's disciple and took their strange little flag. If they come knocking, what should I do? The white-robed old man's eyes lit up and he said, what do you mean what you should do? Just use the formation to kill that person. The grey-robed old man frowned and then said, in a serious tone, those people weren't simple. Almost all of them had 1 star of demonic spiritual energy, and had all learned demonic spells, especially the person leading. With those little flags, he was able to control demon spirits to attack. At first they were going around us, but you became interested in his little flag. Not only did you kill them to take the treasures, but you even let the leader go as a challenge letter to lure the person behind him out. What you did was a bit too much. The white-robed man laughed and said, I'm a guard of honor under the general of the left wing of ancient demon city. How could killing a few savages be considered too much? Also, I deduced that the person behind them isn't strong. Why would that person still be around here in a tribe? He would have already gone to ancient demon city to get a better position if he was powerful. I lured him here because I want to obtain the method of using this small flag from him. If he comes, it will be good. If not, I'll follow the mark I left on the young man and steal it. The grey-robed old man asked, is the chant from the young man's mind fake? The white-robed man's eyes lit up and he said, with a dark tone, it isn't fake, but it is not complete, there should be more. Part 1 end here.